Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 144 of Bardic Quest. In this episode, our heroes, now in possession of Thorik's ancestral dragon-slaying weapon, now make their way back to Phandalin to make their final preparations on their hunt for a dragon, and indeed, the salvation of Johann's soul. So, without further ado, let's get into this week's episode of Bardic Quest. Last time then, because it has been some time since we last recorded, as Annina, you've been away, of course. We are, of course, our wonderful audience without James today, sadly, because just as Annina returned from her acting gig, James has had to shoot off for an unexpected one himself. So we are, hopefully Marvellous can cope without his squire today. We will
have to dress myself.
But yes, last time, because it has been some time, you guys had rested within the dragon barrows, such as they are, and made the decision that your next port of call after leaving the barrows was to head back to Phandalin before heading off to hunt for this dragon. So your intended destination is Phandalin to maybe tie up any loose ends, maybe get some more gear, I don't know. But whatever it is that you're intending to do there, Phandalin is your next destination. You have made your preparations, or at least attempted to make your preparations, which, for the record, was Marvellous rallied the party successfully, which means you are going to get a +1 to all of your saving throws, all of you, throughout the journey, which is good news. And Sergei tried to predict the weather, but didn't do a very good job. Saga tried to pack everything up, didn't do a particularly great job either. And Thorik was able to procure some, I believe it was berries and things, for the journey ahead. So he did some foraging, if memory serves specifically, which mechanically means that the benefit of that is those supply dice that you get as party quartermaster have graduated from a D6 to a D8 for you, for whenever you want to use those. So this is still following the Uncharted Journeys rule set, if you don't have that in front of you. You'd also obviously decided on your party roles, which was that Marvellous was going to be party leader, Saga the outrider, Thorik the quartermaster, and Sergei was going to be the sentry. So, you have just set off then, away from the Dragon Barrow, and you are heading now south, with the Sword Mountains far in the distance, the Sword Coast itself, the actual coastline, to your right, with a bit of sea breeze kind of flowing through. But we're now entering the actual beginning of the travel phase, wherein you're each going to make a check to help to determine generally how well this journey is going to go for you and any additional challenges and things. So this is the first kind of steps. So, first of all, we will start with the Quartermaster. We're kind of slightly flashbacking here to what preparations you will have made specifically as Quartermaster. before you leave on this journey here. So, as part of your part of this group travel check, as it is, you can either choose to share the load, taking a few extra things from your fellow adventurers to lighten their load, and to allow them hopefully to excel at their own tasks that they're completing. You can take an inventory of you and your allies' equipment, sharpening blades, tightening straps, mending saddles, and things like that with the good as new option. Or you can prepare, or have prepared, a nice warm meal or a stiff drink for the group before you all set off. Any of those options take your fancy, Thorik?
I suppose I made a meal. I've got some supplies to do some cooking at some point. Without looking at what the actual benefits of such things are, I might do a bit of a stock check of everyone's equipment.
Sure.
That seems something wise to do. We've kind of gone on this journey to a different location, kind of checking that we've still got everything with us. We went into a barrow and have sort of come out maybe a bit quicker, and essentially just making sure we have everything we need.
Okay, so you're likely going to use the
there was a
probably the good as new option. I think is probably the one that you're.
Yes, I think that was the one.
So any kind of now, are you and this is probably a caveat I probably should have led with. Are you proficient in either blacksmith's tools or leatherworker's tools here?
Oh, no, I'm not. Then I'll be making a warm meal, I think.
Meal. Okay. Wonderful. So you can either use cook's utensils or brewer's supplies.
I'm proficient in both.
Wonderful. Are you proficient in survival?
I am.
Wonderful.
God, this is going well, isn't it?
This is going very well. In which case...
I'm triply proficient in everything.
Could I get
what a flex.
A survival check with advantage to account for your proficiency in cook's utensils here? To see, first of all, how well this warm meal goes.
What's the type of check, sorry?
This is a survival check, but with advantage.
It's a 25.
Ooh, very
Natural 19 on the die.
Very nice. Would you like to describe this warm meal that you will have prepared before you had all set off?
Yeah, so I can't remember what I'd foraged off the top of my head. I believe there were berries. I think we found a pool and there might have been some fishing involved or something. So essentially like a kind of aromatic, an aromatic fishy dishy of some kind for this. Lots of herbs, kind of like little sweetness, little bit of kind of salty umami flavors coming through. And the bounty has been plentiful. There's some big, when I say we're not talking like little minnows here, we managed to catch 4 big fish, one for the halfling, one for one for everyone.
Okie doke. Wonderful. So this meal then gives you all warm bellies and a spring in your step as you're getting ready to set off formally. So we now move to Marvellous as party leader here. So in terms of yourself, as you are setting off here, you have the choice to... let me see if I can find it. I clicked the wrong button and it took me to completely the wrong page and now I'm lost. Sorry, one moment. So, in terms of yourself, you get to... Why can't I find it? Where are you? Hang on, sorry. Completely lost the bit. Here we are. You get to either exude outward confidence about your journey ahead with a persuasion check. You get to, if you want to, instead look inward, steeling yourself for what is to come with an insight check. Or if you prefer, you can sing a song or tell a tale of heroic travellers on an epic quest with a performance check.
Ooh. I think that Marvellous is going to rouse people with a little song, as we're without our bard.
Wonderful. All right. Could I get a performance check from you then, please?
Yes, absolutely.
Do it.
That is an 18 plus 3, 21.
Ooh.
Oh dear, I actually have to perform now.
Very
I actually
do. Well, I mean,
a 21 is beyond my actual abilities.
I mean,
I'm afraid.
perform if you wish, or summarize, of course, what this song is. It's entirely your choice.
I did have a little something. If something like this came along, I don't know if I adapted something.
Please.
So as we're riding out, I've been telling people of the Lord's Alliance, because some of them didn't seem to really know about the Lord's Alliance and the safety and wonder and majesty of this great union of powerful people. And so I ride along and I sing, "You ride out to the great unknown, but brother, you are not alone, for I shall join you in the fray. Over the hills and far away, o'er the hills and o'er the glens, through dungeons and through dragons' dens, the Lord's Alliance we obey. Over the hills and far away." Bum, 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 bum.
Glorious. Thank you, Callum. Isaac, as a music director, I need that isolated and...
I'm on it. Yeah, I'm on it. There's going to be like a 50-part like Welsh male choir.
Yeah.
Super.
Oh,
I got 2 more verses. It's great.
fantastic.
By all means, Callum.
Oh no, we'll save that.
Save that for next time.
Little nibbles.
Leave them wanting more. Leave them wanting more. Glorious. Well, that is considered a success, certainly, Marvellous. Which means that we are left then with the Outrider here, Saga, as you are now on the road here. You have the choice of either blazing the trail, trekking ahead of the rest of the party, navigating the wilderness and finding the best routes to set off upon with a survival check, leaving no stone unturned, where you use your expertise of the natural world to allow you to predict potential dangerous wildlife with a nature check, or and alternatively, if you are proficient and have cartographer's tools, you could chart the course using your knowledge of the wilds and geography, etc.
Let's do leave no stone unturned, so the nature check.
Okay, wonderful.
Was that a D12? D12. There we go. That's a 3
Okay.
with my modifier.
That's with your modifier.
Yep.
Okay. So, would you like to describe your understanding of the expertise that you have of the local wilderness and how it may not have gone so well for you?
I think the landscape changed just enough that even though she thinks she's really confident of what might be there, it's not the Silver Marshes or like around Phandalin area anymore. So I think it's a false confidence. She's like, yeah, we'll be fine. So yeah, it's that. It's a I would have heard something by now, I would have seen something by now kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Grief does terrible things to a person. I know this is probably the 5th episode I'm using that, but I'm going to use that.
And it is.
There's no time limit for healing it.
Exactly.
It's hard to listen out for twig snapping when you've got a paladin booming behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
booming Lord's Light's propaganda.
Blame the paladin.
Yeah.
And if that's not good enough, double down on the grief.
Yeah. Can we get a T-shirt that says "Blame the Paladin"?
Yes, most definitely. Most definitely. Okay. So those checks then were, again, just to remind everybody of the Uncharted Journeys system, those checks were part of the group travel check to help to determine how easy or difficult, or how much more easy or much more difficult this potential journey might be. So obviously the better you do collectively, the easier your journey might be, and likewise, the worse you do collectively, the harder your journey might be also. So, you're travelling along then for this next day. You're expecting to at least have to sleep overnight somewhere on the road during this next leg of the journey for one night before you make it back to Phandalin. This first day that you are travelling, about a few hours into your journey here, you are travelling along, and there's kind of the sea breeze kind of really hitting you, because the sea is just a stone's throw away, only maybe a day's travel maximum to the west of your current position, to your right as you're travelling south, so the sea breeze is hitting you very gently. And you can hear it kind of blowing through the trees and things like that. But could I get a perception check from everybody, please?
That is a 4 for myself.
11.
And a 5.
Thorik,
Yes.
you are listening out here. Listening to the wind, taking it all in. And as you kind of listen to nature around you, you almost feel as though you can hear a voice on the wind.
Kind of voice.
It's sorrowful.
Do I make out any words? Or whether it's even a language I understand?
It's definitely a language you understand, because that's what really, like, makes your ears kind of prick up a little bit. As it being a voice as opposed to just sound.
Mm-hmm.
It is in the common tongue. You think that you're hearing words like, essentially words that amount to pleas for help. And also words that suggest pleas for forgiveness also.
I sort of pause everyone. I pause in the third verse of the Lord's Alliance.
What?
Wait, hang on. Do you hear that? And I kind of direct everyone's attention towards the sound. Do I get a general sense of distance, direction?
It seems to be, the voice seems to be being carried by the wind. So you're not entirely sure how far away, but it certainly seems to be coming from your right, from the direction of the coast.
Pleas of help and forgiveness, you say?
Do we recognize the voice? Is it a familiar voice?
Have you shared what you're experiencing, Thorik? With
Oh yeah. I share everything that I've heard and all the rest of it. So
okay.
Thorik's not currently sure whether it's a a voice of someone alive and needing help, or whether it is something, I suppose, ethereal or magical in nature. Like, stranger things have happened. We've literally met a banshee, things like that. So he's currently kind of debating he doesn't just have a immediate hero complex of must go save. He doesn't really know what this thing is.
So now that you're at least aware as to what you're all listening for, why don't you all give me another perception check here? Essentially, it's
Another
functioning
perception,
as
was it?
advantage, essentially.
That's much better.
Yeah. So not actually
12.
rolling with advantage, but this essentially accounts for 12. What was yours, Thorik?
Thorik got a 19 this time.
19.
So not rolling with advantage.
No, just an additional roll.
7.
You're all picking up on this voice. Although, to you, Saga, you're not sure if it's just a trick of the wind, if you will. But something seems slightly different, but you're not entirely sure whether or not Thorik's kind of hearing things at this point. But you're certainly picking up on something. Thorik, you definitely recognise this voice.
Okay.
You're not sure, again, like with Saga, if you're hearing things or maybe it's your subconscious playing tricks on you here. But as you listen more closely and more intently, this sounds very unequivocally to you like the voice of Johann, carried on the wind.
Do you share that?
Give me 1 second.
With my 12, I guess I hear the voice but don't quite connect.
Yeah, it's kind of...
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, you definitely hear the voice. You can kind of make out the odd word here and there, Marvellous, but as to who or what that voice belongs to, you're not so sure.
It just sounds like the wind.
No, it's definitely words. Yes.
What words?
Thorik
Well,
talks over both of them and says,
Yeah.
I think we should carry on.
well, he's saying forgiveness, and if someone's in need of forgiveness, that's kind of
But forgiveness.
Marvellous, I don't think this is a person or spirit that we are able to help.
What did you hear? Thorik, what did you hear?
I think it best we move on for now. Saga, I will tell you. Trust me. Please.
I'm not sure I enjoy this crypticness, but if you say so, brother. But please do share later, because if someone is seeking redemption,
I'm certain that this is. Trust me. And Thorik will be giving them very plain, very kind of like gentle, apologetically for being cryptic, but very kind of firm. This is not something we are going to run towards.
when it comes to trust, brother, you are very much in credit. So if that's what you say, then on we shall go.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Saga reluctantly relents. Sort of, yeah, reluctantly. But she'll nod and move on.
Thorik is going on Thorik is still torn a little bit himself, but he is going to stick to his guns, as it were, and stick to what he knows of the situations that we've experienced and the nature of how that might have come about. He does not believe in any way, shape, or form that is something that we can positively alter. That is something trying to lure us away from the path. And he tightens his belt and resolutely stares ahead and carries on.
Thorik, could I get a wisdom saving throw from you, please? In fact, actually, Marvellous, could I get one from you as well, actually? 'Cause you could,
no.
hear
Do
something.
Oh dear.
If I'm able to, if I feel something pulling at me, oh no, sorry, that wouldn't affect it. Hang on.
Now, don't forget, you do have a +1 because of the preparations that Marvellous made to rally.
Rousing song.
Cool. I'm gonna do if I have to roll this before I can ascertain this. Do I feel something trying to pull me?
No, this is more to do with one way or another, whether you've interpreted this or not. It's quite chilling, something quite haunting about it. So it's more to do with how well you're able to withstand that feeling of unease.
Cool. I rolled a 22.
Nice.
I rolled in total with the +1 a 13. So I tried to drown it out with song.
Okay.
Thorik is not preparing, but has his rings ready to cast a spell if he thinks that his fellows are being affected by this.
Okay. Generally, it seems, Thorik... Oh, we have lost Annina.
She's gone.
She's gone!
We can't help her now. She's been taken.
We have lost her.
Riding the horse.
I don't have to sing.
No, keep louder. Sorry, Brian, go on.
It's all right. So, generally, Thorik, your kind of feeling here is that, actually, if anything, this kind of reaffirms some of the things that you already know as a religious man, or somebody at least who has been brought up as a religious man. And you kind of see it as almost a natural wonder of the universe, and in some ways, it doesn't weigh too heavily upon you, so much as perhaps the impact that it might have on your fellow party members. As for Saga and Marvellous, however, the almost wonder of it is almost lost on them, or at least the relative wonder, as you see it, Thorik, is kind of lost on them a little bit. As perhaps seeing it as perhaps nothing more than just a voice on the wind, and nothing too wondrous or anything as such. So collectively, you are all okay, shall we say? For now,
Thorik is staying within. Is definitely staying close to his fellows and kind of chivying them along. Doesn't look over his shoulder, but kind of more just has his peripheral vision on Saga and Marvellous to make sure that they are carrying on.
And continuing as they should.
I will bless the both of you if I must.
You and Marvellous mostly just see this as nothing too remarkable. Just a trick of the wind, maybe, or just a voice being carried from further afield. Nothing too wondrous here. So it doesn't have any particular negative effects, on you, or indeed, likewise, Thorik, anything too spectacular for yourself, other than kind of confirming what you've always been told to you here.
It's more kind of like he's aware of he's more aware of the nature of kind of the fact that there is something not completely natural about this, but it is in itself some kind of event thing that isn't something to pay heed to the words. Is that his interpretation that he's getting from that?
Yes, I think
With the
so.
high
But
roll.
I think the other thing to bear in mind that obviously will be at the forefront of Thorik's mind here is that Margaret had told you that Johann's soul was trapped elsewhere, which certainly does make you perhaps question on some level what you've just experienced. That doesn't to you fully add up as to what it is that you're hearing. That is certainly a question in your mind.
Okay. Thorik, as far as he's aware, seeing as we're having to go to another plane to get his soul back, would not think that any part of Johann would end up in these woods. Essentially, is Thorik's interpretation of these events and that role. I don't know if that's how you would, whether that's what you are wanting me to.
No, I mean, it's up to you. I'm just trying to remind you of information just to help you kind of understand what's going on that front,
Okay.
or not, as the case may be.
It's made it more It's made it more confusing despite the high roll. So I'm now like, yeah. But I'm gonna stick to my things. It's probably something trying to kill us or lure us away. So I'm not going to head towards it.
Okay. So, the rest of this first day of your journey actually passes rather uneventfully as you begin to start eyeing up a place to camp as the sun begins to set on these grassy plains, the woods to your left, the coastline to your right, and you begin to settle down to set up camp. Now remember that as part of the Uncharted journey rules, you won't get the benefit of a long rest here because you're camping out in the wilderness. This is more a narrative rest than it is a mechanical one here, as you come to the end of your first day of travel. As you're setting up and settling into camp that night, is there anything any of you wanted to say or do here?
As we're setting up camp and kind of getting all the particulars together, Thorik kind of almost lets out a sigh of relief at just kind of passing through the day and it being uneventful. And he says to the others, the voice I heard on the wind, I heard it a little clearer, perhaps. And it sounded like Johann.
I think you
You're in the zone of silence, Annina.
What did he say?
Did Thorik particularly pick up on any specifics or just kind of...
It was the odd word
help him
here and there that you kind of piece together to kind of get context, so nothing specific.
I heard general chatter of asking for help, forgiveness. I suppose similar things to when we last spoke to him, when he had already passed or been taken beyond the veil. I hope... Go on.
Was it really him?
I don't think so. I heard I had myself pulled as well. There's parts of me that wanted to run, to see, to find any slither of him, but we know better than that. I couldn't bring his soul back to his body. His His physical form is just a vessel waiting for his spirit to return if we're so lucky to do that. And we know from Margaret and from what we've discovered that his essence, his soul, whatever you want to call it, that is not on this plane. I don't believe that what I heard was anything to do with our friend.
If this was bait, then it truly is a cruel deception.
I believe it could have been.
If it was bait, I'm glad I didn't hear it.
As am I, friend.
And I.
Equally, I'm sorry that I made that judgment, however cruel, to take an opportunity to hear his voice again isn't something I do lightly.
I understand you have nothing to apologize for, brother. It seems our enemy may utilize all manner of tools against us. We must steel ourselves against what is to come.
You made the right choice.
I hope so. Well, I look forward to the day when you can put that war pick of Johann's through the chest of whatever creature took him.
Yes.
In the meantime, have you got any more of that fish?
You know, I've not really got the best thing, but I managed to find some leaves to preserve. I've got a fillet or two left, you know. And,
It's. I mean, if you mind my say, rustic, but I don't mean that as an insult. It was hearty and very flavorful.
oh, aye. Yeah, you know, you got to get it's the barley as well. That really fills the belly. But no, I'll get you to stir a pot for me. I'll teach you a few things.
Very
You know,
well.
most things like eat well together, grow together, or nearby to each other as well. That's something that you got to keep in the old brain box.
I was
Have you ever
expecting.
cooked for yourself,
Huh?
Marvellous? Have you ever cooked for yourself, Marvellous?
Oh yeah. No. I frequent the kitchens often, but I find that I work better in a sort of managerial role.
Mm.
Well, you don't have to be a cook to taste the soup, as they say.
Oh no, indeed. I've tasted many a soup.
I bet.
Although I have to say, I expected an adventure. I did not know I'd be going on a culinary adventure. My palate has been questing quite formidably since I entered your party.
Well, I hope to keep up the adventure and tasting things on every horizon. I hope.
Yes, maybe I shall. I'll remember that one. Tasting things on every horizon. Yes,
Yeah, it's quite good actually. I might write that one down. Actually, that's quite
Yes.
good. I'm a bit concerned, to be honest with you. It has been in the back of my mind when we do eventually pass into, I assume, through a dragon as well. Our road leads us to this other plane, which is stuff I've barely heard about in stories, etc., and don't really understand. I don't really know what is waiting for us on the other side, and whether catching dinner is going to be something that is available to us.
It is uncharted territory for myself as well.
Aye. When we get to Phandalin, I want to make sure that I'm carrying a few extra rations and extra supplies for us for our journey. Who long is
Well,
how?
my saddlebags are yours.
Thank you very much. I don't know how long we'll end up being there. Hopefully, as short a time as possible. So I'll manage. Hopefully, we can bring some tasty things with us because full bellies and all that.
A full belly and a steeled heart is what we'll need.
Aye. You should write that one down as well. That's quite good.
I don't carry a pen.
Sergei, where the hell is that halfling gone again?
So, anything else anybody would like to do before you settle in for the evening?
All good, I think.
Wonderful.
I think, yes, I'm all right.
Are you utilising any watches tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we should.
Probably.
And are you with campfire or without campfire?
Oh, with.
With?
I
Yeah.
won't sleep without a campfire.
Oh, God.
We must keep his lords in the.
We're not savages.
Keep his lordship in the fashion that he's acquainted to be being kept in.
Indeed. Okay, so in which case then, what order of watches are you going to do here?
I'll take the first watch so I can have an uninterrupted sleep after that.
Very well.
If it's okay, Thorik will take the dawn just with his usual early riser with his spells, etc.
Sure.
That works.
So then, Saga, you're taking second watch then, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okie dokie. So, you settle down then for the evening to get some sleep, except for you to begin with, Marvellous, as you take first watch here. Is there anything you'd like to do during this first watch?
I think I'd just be inspecting Lightbringer a bit. Very impressed taking it for its first first swing of the day, and just considering he's just considering his position, the fact that already his life is so far different from what it was just a few months ago. And certainly, especially in the much more recent history since he joined the party, and thinking about the discomforts that he feels in this camp are almost a novelty, in that they don't bother him so much, that they are a reminder that he is out here doing something, being something, and starting to feel like he's serving a greater purpose, as opposed to just himself, as he has in his past.
Nice.
So yeah, it's just being a little introspective. Whether that affects his ability to watch out for things, we shall see.
Well, I have some good news. Your watch, Marvellous, actually passes uneventfully as you take this introspective.
Good, I wasn't really paying attention.
I'm gonna die.
Which means then that you're handing over of your watch over to Saga. Is there anything you wanted to say to her?
Wakey.
Oh.
Hello. Yes. Well,
Hi.
I believe I'm not great at. It's got darker, I think, and I think I'm a bit yawny. So I think I'm going to. It does take me a good half an hour to get to sleep in this damn outdoors. So would you mind just
Sure, I'll take.
getting up and? Oh, you are a dear. You are a dear. Fantastic, lovely.
You're laying it on a bit thick, Marvellous.
Oh, sorry. I've never been accused of that before. I'm a very deft and delicate person.
Indeed.
Well, happy watching. I think everything's fine. That bush was there before, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Right. Good night.
Good night. She sort of shuffles a bit, like she sits furthest away from Marvellous because she knows he snores, so she's gonna like shuffle around a bit further away from his snoring.
Is there anything in particular that you would like to do whilst you are alone on your watch?
It will take her like a little bit a while to like maybe 10 minutes like fully like she's alert but for her brain to sort of catch up.
Sure.
And I think she will definitely think back to what Thorik said about hearing Johann's voice. And she's wearing his braces, so she'd be sort of like stroking one. And actually she'll be crying as quietly as she can.
Okay.
That's what she's doing.
Could I
So
get...
very much
Okay.
if she's sobbing, she just puts her hand over her mouth and cries while these two sleep.
Could I get a perception check from you, please?
Perception, okay.
Now, you have got firelight here, so no need to roll with disadvantage or anything like that. Straight roll for you.
Straight roll. I am rolling like... I changed my dice and I'm still rolling badly. A 5.
Okay.
God.
No, don't put the hops in yet. No.
That'll actually help. Maybe she won't have to hold her mouth while she cries with these two.
Your watch passes uneventfully. Anything you'd like to say to Thorik as you wake him up for his watch?
Yeah, she just gently shake him awake. Her eyes are red, but otherwise she looks the same.
I was going to ask, does Thorik notice that you've been crying?
Like she would have wiped the tears off, but like, and you'd probably see some, makeup running down her face.
I was going to say war paint.
Yeah, it's probably, the war paint's probably gone down, but again, during a fight that would have happened anyway, but yeah. Probably. She's not gonna try and fix her face or anything, so yeah.
Thorik kind of catches himself looking too overly concerned to draw massive attention to it, and just kind of says, Are you okay?
No.
I figured.
But I'm really good at this. And with a sad smile, she lies down.
Thorik kind of inhales as if he's going to say something else, and then thinks better of it and nods. Kind of actually just very gently lays a hand on Saga's shoulder and gives it a squeeze before he gets up and goes on his watch.
Okay. Anything you'd like to do as part of your watch? Sorry.
I'd like to spend a bit of time sitting with the Warhammer. So, for the audience's benefit as well, the Warhammer is, he's kind of comparing the two. His one was very utilitarian, very simple in design, just a dwarven, so very kind of like geometric shapes, sort of hexagonal, sort of blunt end. This Warhammer is just cosmetically a lot more interesting. The haft is kind of this beautifully kind of like wrought, twisted kind of silver handle, wrapped in black leather on its haft. The head is a kind of comes to a sort of a blunt point at the back, and sort of the face of the hammer itself, despite being a hammer, almost has this sort of jawed like dragon sort of design on the sides of the haft. So as much as it is a flat end, it has this kind of dragon's head sort of design over the whole head of it, with its kind of coiling scales back to the point of the warhammer, and sort of this leering sort of open maw of a dragon. And as much as it kind of has wear on it, the sort of face of it is sort of bright silver where it's been used and smashed into things. So just cosmetically for the audience's sake, and he's kind of passed it over his hand, kind of feels the weight. Comparing it to his other one, probably feels a lot more easy to handle. Probably feels lighter despite being very sturdy. Kind of maybe pass it from hand to hand and hefts it, and just sort of spends a moment in contemplation in amongst keeping eyes on what he's doing.
And as you spend time studying this hammer, Thorik, really trying to take in every bit of detail that you can, kind of feeling the weight of it properly in your hands, it becomes clear to you that this warhammer is very much a dragon slayer warhammer, which means it is a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls like any other +1 magical weapon. However, in addition, whenever you hit a dragon with this weapon, it takes an additional 3d6 points of bludgeoning damage. And that is any creature that is of the dragon type. So not
That's wyverns as well.
So that would be and dragon turtles, things like that. So anything that is categorized as a dragon type creature as opposed to just a specific dragon,
cool.
It would count. And if you have proficiency with warhammers, which I believe you do, then it will allow you to add your proficiency bonus to the attack roll of any attack that you make with it as standard, of course.
Lovely. So it's +1, and then dragons take an extra 3d6 of the same bludgeoning damage?
Yeah. So obviously be magical bludgeoning damage as well, for purposes of resistances and things like that, but yes.
Lovely. Fantastic. Excellent. Yeah, and sort of realizing these extra benefits to the warhammer, kind of almost a little bit abashed, sort of checking that everyone is still asleep. He stands up and just like holds it up to the moonlight to catch the light on the silver dragon's head of the warhammer, and says, Crystrid, I promise you that I will follow in your steps and slay the dragon that stands between us and our friend Johann.
And almost as you say this, you begin to see the first peak of sunlight over the horizon as dawn begins to sweep in. And you can all take the benefits of a long rest.
Yay!
Oh, no, sorry, not the benefits of a long rest, because you're on a journey with the Uncharted.
Boo!
Sorry. Forgive me. Yes, sorry, forgot about that.
I'm filth!
Sorry. With one hand he gives and the other he taketh away. Sorry about that. Sorry. But your evening, your night's watch has certainly passed uneventfully. Thorik, of course, because you've not long rested, you're stuck with the same spells that you have, so no chance to re-prepare spells at this point. Anything any of you would like to say or do before you set off on your journey for the day?
No, good, I think.
No.
Wonderful.
I think Marvellous has to be roused. Though he may not have benefited from a long rest, he's certainly had a deep sleep.
Okay, at that point, then Saga looks over at this snoring lump and goes to Thorik. You wake him up. I think I'd kick him too hard.
Yeah, I'm sure that wouldn't help his sensibilities. So Thorik gives him an initial sort of like little shake. Marvellous.
Oh, no, governess is always wrong. She's lying.
Marvellous, it's time to get up. Shake.
Oh, it's your round.
The water from the pot that he doesn't like tip it on him, but he Thorik just kind of scoops a handful and just kind of sprays it at Marvellous.
Lord, that's it. I mean, he's still in his armor because it didn't take it off before bed, and he's like, oh, good morning.
Well, it's just stopped raining.
Oh dear, what flash flood? Would
Good
you
morning.
help a fellow up? Would you?
Just
He's like a turtle.
Yeah.
just grabs him from like the lip of his breastplate and like hauls him to his feet.
Good oh. Right. Oh, what's for breakfast?
Thorik's kind of grumbles and Dwarves is like, well, I gotta get you.
Hardtack.
Oh,
Rations.
We'll have a look for more nice breakfast than hardtack, but kind of begrudging as a movie.
She throws one to Marvellous, going, "Adventurous life. You'll get used to it."
ooh, yes. You know, I'd probably wait till lunch, to be honest.
He's such a cad.
You want a heavy meal at the start of the day, you know. Got a lot to do.
I'm taking Mr. Darcy on an adventure.
Okay. So after your rather disappointing breakfast, you begin to pack up camp. Anything anybody wants to do before you leave?
I feed the hardtack to Balthazar.
Nice.
I don't know whether he needs sustenance, but
An ethereal horse.
isn't quite clear in the rules. But
Well, I mean, he will still require some degree of sustenance, as will all of you, of course. But I think a horse requires double, if I remember rightly. But
It's a
certainly,
magic horse.
I mean,
oh yes,
I have a lot of
horse,
rations.
actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a normal horse.
I have a
He
lot of
doesn't, I don't
rations,
think.
so if Saga was asked, she would give her rations.
That's true. I think
especially
technically
to-
he is a spirit horse. Then in that case, is he not?
He might like a ration. Though.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's the motion, it's the memory.
Yeah. All right. So you begin to set off then back down the high, or at least alongside the high road, or maybe even directly on the high road, depending on your choice. But you continue south with the Sword Mountains before you. And you travel for about half a day before, just on the horizon, you do see, for the first time in a while, the image of Phandalin. In the middle distance. Could I get from each of you, please, as this journey looks as though it is about to meet its end, so to speak. Could I get a Constitution saving throw from everybody, please? You're getting a +1 with that because of the rallying of Marvellous before you set off. And if you'd like to, you can also add either Thorik's strength or intelligence modifier to your result as well.
Strength.
Wait, what's your strength modifier?
Which is +3. My intelligence is +0. You know, he's not dumb. He's just not particularly. You know.
But mine's a 23 anyway. So
22.
Ooh, Conseil's big money. 22 as well, actually.
Ooh, so we're all...
If I can add my own strength to
well, of
my
course.
roll.
Hard pack.
So we're all looking... What was the lowest one? 19 there, I heard?
22.
22 was the lowest.
22.
Okay. Very nice.
Oh, that's 22 as well.
In which case, then, each of you, as you are feeling very relieved and happy to see Phandalin on the horizon, you can each gain a number of temporary hit points equal to your level.
Ooh.
Ooh. 5.
5.
Brother.
Juicy.
In addition, Saga, this would normally be the job of the sentry, Sergei, in this instance, but as he is not here, we will default to the Outrider instead. Could I please get a... what's your wisdom modifier?
-1.
Okay. In which case, then, could I please get a roll of a singular D12, please?
Okay.
And if you could let me know what your result is.
15.
On a D12?
15.
D12.
Sorry.
That's a very good D12 you got there.
The mathing is quite
Fucking
mathing.
dice. Where's my D12? There's my D12. Sorry. I was just holding the D20, so
It's alright. It's the default dice roll.
7.
Isn't it?
It's a 7.
Okay.
That's like a 15 on a 20.
Oh, well, I mean, sure. Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, look. 7. There. 7.
Okay.
There's a bat on it. Look at that.
So,
Bad.
you continue on then towards Phandalin, your destination here, for a bit of potential respite with your kind of boosted morale, such as it is, as you see Phandalin getting closer and closer and closer. However, as you get closer to the town, you all begin to feel a very odd sensation.
Oh, no.
Almost like the ground beneath you beginning to rumble. You have essentially an initiative round here to do whatever it is that you want to do in response to this. Thorik, we'll start with you.
Does this feel bad? Whatever it is.
It certainly doesn't feel normal. The ground is rumbling beneath your feet.
Right, 3 of those, and how many third level spell slots do I have? Okay, I'm going to cast. How long does that last? That lasts up to 10 minutes. But I think it'd be better for everyone to have that. I think. That's not concentration. Cool. Thorik draws on his magic, and the hammer starts to glow as he kind of like plants it into the ground, and the silver kind of starts to radiate, and he just first of all touches himself on his armor, and this kind of silver mist starts to coalesce over his body in protection, touches Saga's shoulder, and the same happens there, and then reaches across and touches Marvellous, the same as I cast Aid at 2nd level.
Ooh, nice.
So your spell bolsters your allies with toughness and resolve. Choose up to 3 creatures within range. Each target's hit point maximum and current HP increased by 5 for the duration. It is not temporary hit points, so it does not take those away.
Nice.
Your just whole muchness increases by 5. So for the next 8 hours, you can also be healed up to that same maximum.
Nice. Very good.
That's it. Very nice.
Anything else you'd like to do, Thorik? Any bonus action or anything like that?
Oh, I can have a bonus action as well,
It's
can I?
essentially functioning as like an initiative round, so if you've got things you want to do, you can do them.
Cool. Spiritual weapon. No, I think. Oh, it's a bonus action, but it's another spell.
Okay.
So normally you'd only be allowed to cast one spell in a round. So it depends how strict we're being there.
Yeah. So if you've already casted a spell slot spell, you're limited to bonus action cantrips here, essentially.
Cool. I cast. Initiative is an ability check, isn't it?
Yes.
I cast guidance on Saga.
Ooh. Nice. Okay. Let's go with Saga next, actually. We're not formally in initiative here, but just in terms of time. This is quick reactions to the rumbling sound. What would you like to do?
Since she's not seen anything yet, just felt to get out her crossbow and scan the perimeter. Scan, like, what's making that rumbling noise.
Okay. Sure. Why don't you give me a perception check?
Come on. Two.
Yeah, you can feel the rumbling. That is about it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I've drawn out my crossbow. That's it.
Okay. Marvellous. Yourself.
I would, feeling the rumbling beneath me, I'd be like, Balthazar, is that hard tech not agreed with you? Balthazar, however, sensing the trembling, he's going to bolt 60 feet forwards, thundering hooves along the ground.
Okay.
From 60 feet away from the others, and then I suppose I will, realizing something's up, I will, I suppose, take a glance around and listen to see what on earth is actually going on, to sort of try and sense my environment.
Sure. Why don't you give me a perception check as well, then, in that case?
Okay, that is not going to be particularly good. That is a 9.
A 9. Yeah, you can't really... The rumbling is certainly more intense where you are. But you don't necessarily see or hear anything that you haven't already in this instance.
Okay, but whoa there, boy.
And
I draw Lightbringer.
Nice. So, as you then get into position, Marvellous, as you kind of mounted on the back of Balthazar before you, the rumbling gets more and more intense as the ground almost starts to shift around you. It's a very strange sensation. You're kind of almost struggling to stay on your feet here. And then, from out of the ground, bursts with kind of debris and earth just kind of spraying everywhere. This large creature, almost like, kind of like got from the shoulders down, is almost not too dissimilar to like a rhino or something of that nature. But its head is this smooth, almost bullet-like shape of this like carapace that almost like armor, body armor that is protecting its body as it just bursts and leaps into the air and lands, basically separating Balthazar and Marvellous from Thorik and Saga as it just bursts through the ground. So, I'm going to need initiative rolls from everybody, please. Hey there, Questers. I just wanted to take a quick moment to say a huge thank you to all of our Patreon supporters and YouTube members. Your support really helps to keep this channel going strong. So I wanted to give a special shout out to each and every one of you, our incredible patrons and YouTube members, who are Woodstrapper, Simon Jelly, Martin C, Gallus, Gary Lloyd, James Hamilton, J.R. Bellaston, Robert Treadwell, Jason Udall, Jason Bradwell, Nigel Raggett, Rebecca Hill, Giles McGee, and Caesars. Honestly, your support truly makes a huge difference, and we appreciate you more than we can express. And to those of you who haven't yet joined, I would invite you to consider becoming a patron or YouTube member. Not only will you unlock fantastic benefits, including early access to videos, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, and access to our Discord channel, but you'll also be directly contributing to the growth and success of this channel. But to everybody, thank you again for all of your support and helping us to tell these incredible adventures together.